Have a listen to this. Key ignition contact. That's the sound of a car with no spark, and I know it's got no spark because I checked. And I further know that that's the immobilizer. And the reason I know that is because when you took the key out of the ignition in this car, it would go pico pico, pico pico. And that's a sound that I'm going to miss because we're going to take it out. That immobilizer, it's incredible it got to this kind of year. It is 33 years old, I guess. And it was the sound of the 90s. You know, we've all been in a car from the 90s or remember a car from the 90s that had that immobilizer and made that little sound when you took the key out or didn't put the fob in or put the fob in. And speaking of the fob, you put it in the socket and it would immobilize the car. And the little red light hasn't been going for some time because I disconnected it. Fuse board in my face is not a good look for me. I was chasing down a problem with the heater, which is a known issue with all of these spiders because there was no drain hole in the bottom of the heater housing and water would pool and seize the motor and then you'd have no heater. And somebody came along and found that the heater wasn't working, and instead of fixing it, they just took the 12-volt feed from it and sent it to at least the little red flashy light. And now we're going to have to rip out that immobilizer. So let's delve into the passenger side dashboard where it lives and where it very soon too will not be living. Here it is. Oh, outside the door. Look at that. A Meta M36T. It's got a fuse. This was the wire that was scotch blocked onto the 12-volt feed in behind here to the heater. And this will go over to the ignition. Look at this. Look at all of these. Well, where's that one going? Somewhere far away, far off land. What about this? Another taped off wire. Weird. So the way this would have arrived is it would have had, when it was being installed, all of these cables, before they were cut down to size, would have had a marking on them telling the installer what they were. And then the idea is that you would cut them down one by one as you install them, and then nobody else will be able to identify them. It doesn't really matter. The only way these immobilizers work is that they're a little bit it's too much trouble to undo them, get them out of the car's wiring quickly. So if you were looking, if the prospect was stealing the car in a hurry, that's not really possible. Because we're going to have to undo underneath it or around the ignition barrel. We're going to have to trace this and basically just cut it out and reinstate the original wiring of the car, and that will be a good job. So I think I'm going to go after this one first. Can't see where it goes. It actually seems to go down in this area, which is bad news. I'm going to go back in here first to the rear parcel shelf. It is so small in here, I have an idea. Let's put the roof down. If you've never owned a car with a soft top, you always do this. Make sure that that rear plastic screen folds down nicely, and that's what keeps them lasting a long time and in nice condition. Now we can get in here where there is a piece of carpet just for safe keeping of the main carpet. This little thing here, we've got the ECU and some relays. I'm guessing a fuel pump relay and a spare fuel pump relay. And in the back here are a couple of screws. My educated guess would be that those two wires coming from the immobilizer are coming to this area back here where there's likely a fuel pump, but there's certainly the ECU and some relays. So I think we're going to find them tapped into some wires under here somewhere. It is a blustery day. Okay, let's just see. Can we do this? How do we do this? Down here behind some Velcro, there's a couple more screws. This is quite a substantial panel. Oh, there we go, it's a bit stiff. Let's go. Same thing on this side. Hiya! There we go. Now we should be good. Very good. Look at all that old foam. Now is a perfect time to tell you three things. One, if you're a Spider, in-car entertainment or car alarm aficionado and you're not already shaking your head at the conclusions I've drawn so far, prepare to. And know that I do catch up. Slowly. Number two, while I look for the wires, I'm also searching for a small magnet that fell off the mic I was wearing and has never resurfaced. It's why the audio is a little blustery at the start of this video. If you're on the other side of whatever temporal rift that magnet fell into, send Morse code. The mystery is driving me crackers. And number three, coming up, a walk around of the car, a wee delve into the history file, and a cheeky unboxing of the gorgeous R-Tech MIG 181 welding plant that will be in the boot of this car when you come to collect it. Carry on. I went on a wild goose chase after that wire, and after a lot of scratching around, as you saw, I realised that I should go back and just double check where it was going. And I found what I think is that it stops right there. Where it disappears, it's just disappearing into an earth strap onto the body. We're going to explore that. But the first thing I found, which is a really, really handy thing, is that this fuse box, let me get my hand in behind, just clips out. So I'm just going to push that out of the way and then see if this wee earthy thing is a wee earthy thing or not. Hiya! Oh well, it's loose, which means someone's been in here, or it could just be Alfa Romeo. Okay, take note that there's loads of other cable onto that. If I pull this, oh my gosh, there it is. It just stops right there. It's only an earth. Okay. Well, with that, the earth strap removed, the only other cable or set of cables is this, and it's heading that way. So I think we'll just start stripping underneath the steering column, and I'm sure we'll find it out the other side. In the driver's side, which is really the passenger side, but it's the driver's side, I'm not pissed off that I spent half a day chasing a cable that didn't exist, because I didn't spend half a day, I spent an hour or two. Oh, okay. It's not just cable ties. Okay, wow. That's fantastic. Where are you? That's our cable that we're looking for. Before I do anything else, because it is kind of tight in here, but really because this seat is absolutely soaked, despite having the cover on the car, it's soaked, so it's got to come out. I'm just going to take it out, and then there'll be more space and I can dry it in a far quicker time, because it is not drying weather in Ireland. Despite the sunshine and it being relatively mild, I cannot leave this outside for days. Oh look, both there. Is there anything else? No. Okay. Huh, all pretty good under here. Yep, 2 clips just popped off the side panel. They're an easy fix, a handful of rivets and some contact adhesive to glue the carpet back down to the panel. But a tip I learned the hard way for removing the brace that joins these 2 panels side to side without damaging anything is to use a socket on an extension to undo the nut on the opposite panel to the one you're trying to remove. It saves that feeling of making things worse while you're just trying to remove them. What are we doing? Oh yeah, the search for immobilizer wires. Where are you? Hang on a sec. pulling it here, and I can see it moving way down there. Where is it going? Going in underneath the console? Well, let's find out. A screw here, which I'm going to guess releases at least part of the little console tray. Yeah, Jesus, very much releases it. I presume this might pull out, will it? How do you exit the building? Exeunt. Oh, look at that. Okay, this is all very doable. Oh, see another screw in there. Out already. Careful. Brittle plastics. Okay. That's going over there. Where's our... Oh, here it is. This is it. And it only... How is this device in any way affecting the car? In review, this red cable with a nasty Scotch block on it was the one that I took off the 12-volt feed to the blower motor. And aside from the ground, the earth strap, that was the only thing that was attaching this immobilizer to any system in the car. Which means somebody who I can only describe with pictures installed this and charged somebody else for the privilege of having it installed, and all it was doing was lighting up a little light. I mean, it literally was not doing anything else. So every time somebody stuck the little fob into the thing and it went piku piku, and they thought that they were, you know, unimmobilizing their cars, they weren't. They were just going through the motions with this thing, which is kind of funny but also tragic. This could well be in perfect condition, because I had to go looking elsewhere and try and figure out what the hell is actually wrong with this car. And it turned out that all the work I did pulling out the rear shelf may not have been for nothing. Let's go and look over there. This hole under rear parcel shelf area is where the ECU lives and all of those spare fuel pump relays. Well, the actual one that we should be most concerned with, or initially concerned with, and let's not be concerned about all these things that have literally nothing connected to them. What are they for? Is this one with the red stripe on it, known as the red stripe relay amongst Alfa aficionados. Yoink, it's a Bosch 0332014112 30 amp relay. And the thing that makes this one a little bit different from, let's say, your standard relay is that your main power coming in on the 30, when it is triggered by 86 and 85, it sends power to both 87A and 87 rather than one or the other. And I can't get this from any motor factors in this country, so I have a couple of them in order because there's no sense in getting just one. I've tested this and I'll show you the results. So here is our meter, and it is set to, well, it's set to ohms generally, and I've just set it to 2k. It's not going to matter because I already know, and it doesn't matter which way around between 85 and 86 that we go with the cables. We're just trying to measure the resistance, and it should give us, well, it shouldn't give us 1, and 1 is equal to open loop. This relay doesn't work. Now we can definitively test it, that, you know, that's an actual reading by just sticking 12 volts through it. Allow me to introduce my lovely assistant, Varta. She will be our battery for this test. Is it a Varta? Lovely assistant, GS. She will be our battery for this experiment. What we will do is, well, no, we won't, because we don't have enough hands. Do we have enough hands? Can we get this to even talk to this? Come on. Yeah. Do that one as well. No. Okay, this is tough going. On you go. Come on. Dig in. There we go. Nice soft lead. Now I'll bring this up close to you so that you can definitively hear that nothing will happen. This is dead. If you don't believe me, we'll go the other way too. Absolutely no clicks. Wake up, McFly. That is a dead relay. Bye bye. So that I can justify to myself the 35 odd euros I've spent ordering online for a replacement relay for this, in the hope that it's the right thing, what we will do, even though we've already done 2 little tests, I've teased the cover off this, and to show you that all that happens inside a relay is this little set of points gets energized and they connect and they stay connected to bridge the gap between your main 12 volt feed, which is number 30, and whatever it's feeding, which in this case is 87A and 87. And so if we follow the logic here, if we take our little crocodile clip and we permanently close those points and then fit the relay, and this is the problem, then the car should start. So let's try and do that. Now this isn't dodgy. Goes that way, and it goes, and then making sure the other end of this little crocodile clip isn't touching anything that could ground, we just tease those two together. And now I do so hope that it starts, because I'd love you to hear how good this engine is, and I hope you can hear it if it does start. Battery would be a good thing. Okay. Oh yeah, we have an ignition lights and other relays ticking. So, contact. Can you hear that? You hear how it's just so smooth, this engine? It hasn't started in months and months and months. There wasn't even any oil starvation for even a split second. Come and have a look. Okay, enough of that. Behold the Alfa shower cap, patent pending. There are a couple of leaks into the front footwells that I'm going to fix definitively, and in heavy rain water gets in between the windows and the roof. I'm not sure if that's because of the car being a product of its time or if it just needs a little adjustment, but the funny thing is there are no leaks in heavy rain while on the move. The main target here though is the heater, and as it turned out I was going to have to take the dashboard out to get to it. Amazingly, the whole thing is held only by 4 fasteners, 2 butterfly nuts in the middle and a screw either end. I did wonder why Alfa would choose butterfly nuts on something so fundamental to the interior, until I realised that tool access for anything other than the dexterity of a hand might pose a problem. The original wiring will allow the centre console to be taken out easily, but some aftermarket stereo wiring has been routed through it. So I'm taking this time to reroute it, and the console will come out so much easier in future. It's late. It's getting late. It's going to get dark soon. I thought I'd just go through the history file before we have a look at the welder and the car to show you it's got a really good history file. Now, I added this. I love doing that. It's an original owner's handbook. There's a lovely toolkit. It's in there. I'll show you. And there's a brochure. This was in here already. An original Spider brochure. Very cool thing. Isn't that nice? Look at that. It's got posters in it. But the really interesting stuff is that the car has got a good history file, and everything that's been done to it is pretty well documented, and by people of import. Let's put it that way. This is all service history. It's pretty comprehensive, both sides of the Irish Sea, because the car lived certainly at the early part of its life in the UK, and there's MOT tests and reports and servicing and repairs and all sorts of stuff there, all very well documented. And then when it came to Ireland, again, it was looked after, and it was looked after by good people. There are invoices here from a motor group that is led by Ireland's first Formula 1 driver, and he has a great reputation. But that's all for the new owner. There's also something really interesting that I put in here, and this is a printout from the Alfa bulletin board, and it is just one of many pages on the Alfa bulletin board with owners talking about play in the rear bearings, because this car has a limited slip diff, and the mechanics of it mean that this car has play in the rear wheels from the factory. And this discussion, the reason that this piece of paper, that I printed it out and put it into the history file, is because my roadworthiness tester suggested I do so. Because it was when he initially told me, well, your car's failing because it's got play in the rear wheels. And I said, well, I've just done the rear wheel bearings. And he said, well, you know what? We can't know the characteristics of every car. So why don't you go on and check on forums and see if it's a thing? And sure enough, it was. And so that discussion is other owners all across the world talking about how they have that discussion with their roadworthiness tester every time roadworthiness comes around, which is, it's just kind of funny and cool. On the back of this is a tax disc holder of Santo Pio of Pietrelcina, yeah. The motorist's prayer, may the Lord grant a safe journey to all who travel in this vehicle, and may the saints watch over and pray for us. It's in there, should be on the car. And in the bottom of this box, there are manuals for head units come and gone, and old tax discs, a plaque for the North East Vintage Car Club, a steel plaque that's supposed to go on your grill. And what is this? This is the schematic and manual for a base bin. I'm not going to say too much more about that. We might revisit that later on. Let's have a look. That's the history file, resplendent in green. Let's have a look around the car. As you may have noticed, it's scruffy. It's very scruffy. It's very cosmetically challenged. And if you were really eagle-eyed, you might have noticed blemishes down the flanks of the rear quarters. That's really the main hiccup with the exterior of the car, because everything else will buff up, but there is a little bit of rust popping out that has been repaired before on the other side. But I am not doing that. That is for you. That's why there's a welder coming with this car, which we're going to look at in a sec, but let's look around the car. Starting at the front, nothing really to report. I mean, some stone chips and a little bit of a scuff around the badge. Do we need more light? A little bit more light? Yeah, it's pretty good. It's really dull. It needs to be polished. The headlights, well, they're kind of milky, and we're going to address that. So no fear there. As we come to the sides, the wheels are all really good. Again, just need a bit of a clean. There's some scuffs on the paint, a couple of scrapes. It has had paint in the past, and it is obvious when you see it chipping off this scuttle. It's not particularly well painted around this scuttle, but the rest of it will, like I say, polish up. The mirrors, the pedestals for the mirrors are oxidized, and they're obviously some sort of alloy. There's a little blemish here that somebody has touched in. Very annoying and very localized. That is easily fixed. Now we'll get into a little bit more. There's some filler in there, right in the corner. Can we see it? There we go. A little bit crusty. And if we come up onto the side of the quarter panel, there's a crack there. So there's definitely some filler in there. I have a temporary aerial in here because it came without an aerial. The aerial was missing and I didn't want that hole being there, so I just put any old aerial into it, but we are going to replace that. As we come round to the rear, this tail light is a bit yellowed, and this is a common thing. Well, in this country it's the offside, but the driver's side in a right-hand drive car, tail light often is yellowed, and I think it's something to do with the fact that the battery is in behind it, and maybe fumes are yellowing that, which would make me feel that maybe it's yellowed from the inside rather than the outside. But I think a little go at polishing that will be the thing. See, the problem here is that these lights, and maybe the near side one has been replaced, because these lights with the white strip along the bottom, you can't get them anymore. And if you ask me, they are the cooler look, but I suppose two matching lights would be cooler looking than this. The badge, very faded. We will address that too. Little bit of lacquer peel just there, but that's the least of the problems, because this corner is very suspect, and this is the worst part of the car. This whole rear quarter has issues. And they drive me mad. I really, really, really want to do them, but this is a project car, and there's no sense in me doing the thing that will... I'd be stealing the learning and the experience from you. I really, really hope that whoever takes this car does this work themselves, uses that welder and this car to learn how to weld, because you can't really mess it up. You know, you can mess it up once, but the second time you'll do it better, and it's infinitely redoable. And at the end of the day, you know, there's a few ways to skin this cat. This whole quarter could just be picked off by every little spot weld all the way around and just taken off and a new one put on. They are available. Or you can go at that with the learning of cutting out pieces and putting in new pieces, fabricating and putting in new, as you saw I did with the Range Rover. Moving back forward, you know, it's more of the same. This is just all a bit dull, could do with a polish, a bit of a spit and shine, and it will look a million times better. And that's really it. It's a lovely little thing. It's an exciting prospect for anybody willing to have some fun working on it. And it's going to go home with somebody. So if you haven't bought a ticket yet, buy a ticket. You'll be helping me out, and you'll be, if you end up being handed the keys to this thing, yeah, you're going to have a lot of fun. Let's have a look at this welder. Oh, what have we got? Operating instructions. Of course. Do I really want to open this on whoever? It's not mine. Oh yeah. Let's have a look. Tell you what we'll do. We'll put the welder on the ground. Whoa. So we can have a proper look at this. Make sure you're in shot. Now we've got our gas pipe, a lovely torch with the flexible handle. This makes a big difference. Tip is in there, ground strap. I've forgotten what these look like when they're nice and clean. And this is the regulator, which we probably won't be able to see. It's very nicely packed in there because are there glass parts still in regulators? A lovely thing. Good quality. Close that up. Let's look at the main attraction. Oh, look at this. We put that under there. Put both of them under there. Let's do that. Is it going to let me in without destroying the surprise for the new owner? Not really. This is where months and months of masking tape on a spree body pays for itself. I'm a Jedi with tape now. You've got your two sockets there for your earth and your main strap. I'm not sure what this is. Possibly for arc or TIG. And just the two knobs. That is it. 2 buttons, 4 buttons. Oh yeah, you can tell it what gases you're using, or even flux cord cable, flux cord wire. Easy set. It's this welder. I'm going to be excited to when I do finally get to use one of these, because it just seems like a lovely machine, and it's got a great reputation. And you know what? It's coming from a company, and this is the biggest attraction for me with R-Tech, is their after sales. They really look after their customers, and they're great to deal with. So I'm going to put this away, and let's get on with the video. Now it's much easier to see the telltale drip marks in the carpet and the crack pipes that funnel rainwater from the scuttle through the bulkhead and into the inner front arch area. They're doing a spectacular job of occupying a space where something good should be.
This motor itself is fine. The bearings are all but seized though, and causing enough strain that the motor gets very hot very quickly. I tried my best to get into where I could make a difference, but time is against me. So this goes into the spare box for a rainy day, and I'd much prefer to spend the time doing just a little fun photography for the Alfa. Jeez Louise.
I'm nearly 50. Ah. Okay. Don't put the heater valve back on before you put the heater back in. That is the lesson here. And I'm going to keep trying it this way, even though I know I should just take the heater valve off. Ah. I'm doing this by braille. You know, when you're trying to manipulate an 8mm nut between two index fingers and you can't see it, you're trying to get it threaded between two fingers. Ah. Come on. Imagining, manifesting. Yes. Now, can I get a socket onto it? No, not a chance. Heater valve's coming off. Maybe. This is a bad idea. Yeah, this is a bad idea. Yeah, it's a bad idea. Must try harder first.
Look like you're having fun.
No, it's not good. This is horrible. God, brute force. Oh, my arms need so much rest. Oh, that's one nut out of 4. Well, okay, we're going in. That was the second. That's the second most difficult nut that I just did. This one is the most difficult because the two on the other side are going to be by comparison, so much easier. Oh, I feel your pain, Jethro. Jethro Bronner. Check him out. He does alphas and he does them well. Oh, come and do mine. I'm trying to tap the little nut out of this socket without losing it, because like every time I have to get in and out of this position, I probably lose a year of my life. Certainly a year in the life of my back. Come on out without dropping. I could drop it into my mouth. No, let's not do that. Yes. Now let's just drop it. Fuse board in my face is not a good look for me. You know what? Alpha spiders should go up in value by thousands if somebody has refurbished the heater. Ah! Ow! Okay, there. I've dropped the nut. It has not left my hand yet, but I have dropped it. Retrieving. Oh, it's touch and go. The washer is on, but the nut is... Oh, I dropped it. No, what did I drop? Oh, I dropped everything. You see, I don't want to upset the gasket, which I know is well seated now on the heater valve. And that's why I'm persevering with trying to get these washers and nuts on without taking the heater valve back off. I mean, it would be possible, but I just prefer to do things the hard way. Why can't I even reach that now? I was there a minute ago. Okay. That's the sound you love to hear. Oh, okay, we're gonna try something different. Ow.
Oh, you fucking bastard. Ow! Dickhead. Son of Jarrell. Other Phil Dunphy quotes. I mean, one bolt could hold this heater in, couldn't it? One nut and bolt. Yeah. Nobody's ever going to use this heater anyway. It's just going to seize up again. That's the washer on. I'm dropping the nut again. And I dropped it all. Washer. No. Oh, it's gone this time. It went down behind the carpet. Damn you. Oh, thank God it's just there. Yes. Is this possible? I have a plan. Okay. Can you see that? Double-sided tape on the washer. Where have I put the nut? Left the nut sitting beside the tape. In we go. My legs are literally on the hood. Okay. Get this washer in. Which hand do I need? This one. Okay. I think it's possible if you only have to deal with one each thing at a time, one thing at a time. A washer first. Double-sided tape is working. And now the nut. You can do this. You can do this. Okay, maybe you can't do this. Oh, it fell, but it didn't come out. Is that it? Is that it? Yes. Let this be a lesson to you, anybody. Just don't play with cars, ever. Feel it. Come on. Is that it? All of the ways you can get hit in the head with an 8mm nut. Whew. Okay. This is stupid. Oh, I'd love to see a car. I'd love to see what a car would look like when it was designed to be worked on. Like, form following function for real. There's a sentence. I did it. It's possible. It's totally stupid, but it's possible. Now, getting something on there that will actually tighten that. Tell you what else is kind of tricky. It's knowing where to seat this. I mean, it doesn't naturally sit anywhere. Well, it naturally sits all the way over towards the passenger side where I am. The whole heater, I mean. Okay, I'm going to tighten that up off camera because you've seen enough. Oh my God. Can I get out of the car? I might just live here now. Now the last piece of the puzzle is this very, very skinny little ground wire that has to go on to one of the mounting nuts and bolts for the heater to allow it to run. It's kind of a comically long cable. If I can get that washer to stay there, and if I can now thread
earth and the nut as I can. I'm trying to do this in a way that you can see it. It's so small. This car is so small. I am currently very upside down with my back broken across the sill of the car. I'm trying to get you a shot that works for both of us. This is torture. Kind of wonder why the captive bolt is so particularly very long. It could be half this length and still be very effective. Okay. That's hand tight, finger tight. I thought my hand was gonna have to live in there forever for a second there. Whoa! The clever thing would have been to bench test this heater with the new motor in it before I did all this stuff. I have not tested this heater. I'm starting to feel a real sinking feeling of doom. I should really get a socket. That's tight. Okay, let's test it.
Well, it's the next day. It's early. We've got the long shadows and the tweet, 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 tweet. I'm recording here. I've got the wheel off because I'm fighting a battle trying to keep water out of this thing, and I need to replace the scuttle drain pipes that drain out into this wheel arch behind the liner, of course. I'm trying to avoid taking the liner out. Have a look. Well, that brake disc is going to need a little bit of TLC. That's the pipe, and it's just held by that you know, it's just like a foldy over piece, but it's fairly well held, and I think if I can get it out of there I should be able to just pull it down. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, doesn't want to go. Let's see if I can push it in from this side, or push it out even. Yes, I can. What I'm trying to avoid is dropping this
arch liner. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, can I get a new one in? Can I get a new one in without dropping the arch liner? Well, delving into the big box of parts. Here we go. Well, they don't look like they're sided. Now I'm trying to exercise some sort of forethought and soaping this up, and then we'll try and push it in from the inside of the car. Please work. I just need a simple win this morning. That'd be nice. Just a quick one. Quick simple win. Yes. Oh, that could be a joyous thing. Okay, come on, please. No. Oh, the car taketh as quickly as it giveth. Absolute dead stop. It must be hung up on something back there. I don't think this is possible without dropping the liner. No. Okay. You see, this thing's held in with these little plastic pop fasteners with the little shaft that's push fit into them. And where does that go when I push it through? Into some cavity never to be seen again? I don't want that. Okay, it's time to just exercise a little bit more resilience here and see if we can tease this down, because it's actually, I think it might be just hanging up on the liner, and maybe we can get it from the other side if it could be that close. I think I've got it sussed, hopefully. I've realised that I can probably pull this, can I? Maybe without breaking it? Yes. And there is another, you're not going to be able to see this, but there's another one of these loops in there, and that's what it's hanging up on, because it just hasn't found its way into it. I can tease it in there. Or maybe I can't. With a second person, this is absolutely possible. But I am so lonely. Yes. Can we see it yet? Yes, we can. Here it is. So you can tease that other clip, just widen it up in there, and then the pipe actually slides in quite easily. There we go. That goes in. Don't want to go too far. And I'll tease that back around it, which is easier said than done. Let's try a socket extension. Will that do it? Yeah, that's good. Okay. Gently shove that in there. And we've got one new pipe. All we have to do is connect it inside. Okay. So we're going to need a clippy clip. And I think the trick here might be to just make sure that this isn't under tension, because I don't understand how the other one disintegrated so badly. And I feel like maybe it's just set up under tension. There's nothing you can do about it. There we go. Come on, up you go. A little bit more. Should have soaped it up. Yeah, that's not great. It's kind of, it just is under tension. Little bit kind of squeezed. Is there anything I can do to make a difference to that? Is it touching the pedal? No, it's not, but only just. Oh, well, there we go. That's about as good as that gets. One new drain. Passenger side. Things look a little nicer over this side, don't they? Let me just pull that out a little bit. And look in there and pull that one out a little bit. If we can.
passenger one is just as ripped. Can we get it out of here? Come on. There we go. I can't decide if this side is less easy or more difficult. Oh, because the wiring loom is everywhere on the inside of the car in relation to this pipe. Why don't you have a look in there for me? See what you can see. Yeah, see it? Where's the pipe? Why can't I see the pipe? It is just there. It's just there out of shot. Okay, I think I got it. Hope I got it. Yes. Okay. Somebody's put some sort of schmoo all over the place. And it's horrible. It's really, really tacky, whatever it is. Goes in there. And we have another new scuttle drain pipe. Ah. Oh, come on. Yeah. There we go. Now find the sweet spot in terms of tension and get the Jubilee clip up. There we go. Come on, Jubilee. There we go. When the sun is at low angles, it's always in your face. Just when you need to look up underneath the dashboard. Okay, that's done. The good news is that the through bulkhead grommets that these go through are still very tight. I would have no worries about any water getting past them. That's done. You might have noticed something. Throughout the course of all of this under dashboard stuff, you're a bit wobbly. What did you notice? Something we don't like and we are not going to put up with. Yes. Satan's finger traps. And to prove a point, I can't pull that one apart and I can't pull that one apart, but I hate them and they must go away. You see, they can be strong like these two are. Can I do it? No, I really can't. Yes, I can with that one. That's an open moisture trap, right? That can just wick moisture in, and as you have seen, we have had plenty of moisture inside this car, so we're just gonna just solder these up, solder them together, and put some nice adhesive lined shrink wrap, heat shrink onto them to seal them. Ow. Okay, this one doesn't want to go. How much tail have we got on that? Loads. Right, so we're just gonna cut this off. Bye bye. No fancy nippers here, side cutters or anything. I just use the side cutters on the pliers. Which isn't that effective when your pliers is blunt. There we go. That wasn't twisted. Twisting the wires helps the solder run. And I'm going to do a joint here that is absolutely a proper working joint for braided wiring like this, or multi-core wiring. The thing that I think in America they call the Western Union splice, probably over here too, where you twist the wire together and then solder it. That was designed for single core wires, solid core wires. Was designed for telegraph wires, actually, I think. It is not, I'm not saying it's not, you can't use it, I'm just saying it's not the absolute must. Do we have plenty of tail on this as well? We do. So, bye-bye. That's satisfying. I learned how to do this when I was 10 from a trained technician. And it's worked for me ever since. Now, twisty, and then we've got some nice heat shrink. My eyesight's shot. There we go. Put that well out of the way. Both of those. And then, this is Eric, my soldering station. So named because it was sent to me by a wonderful viewer and patron, Eric. And I will forever be grateful. This is the real deal. And it replaced my other Weller real deal. Oh, it's just gone off because I've kicked the power supply. I had one of these welders. I had it for nearly 25 years. I took it out of a skip. It wasn't this exact model, but it was an old version of this, an old station, a proper station. I cannot get the power back in. There we go. And it lasted all the time, and it was very, very old and secondhand when I pulled it out of the skip. They are fantastic machines. I don't know if this one has a thermostatic control inside it in here. The old one did. I think this one might be just all controlled by the box, but it's just a fantastic thing. It gets up to temperature very quickly. In fact, it's just approaching there now. It's about 380 degrees when it's at temperature, and it's just so worth it. I think this might have been about 150 euros, maybe 200 euros. I can't remember. It's a WE1010 if you're interested, I think. And this wand is a WEP70. Let's have a quick look at the back of this. Underneath it, WE1010. Yep. I love it so much that it lives in a very Navy SEAL-esque Pelican case with all of my little accoutrement. This is my little solder things together with only two hands helper, and there's various bits of old jobs and things like that, but I stuff it in here and keep it very safe because I do love it. There you go. We tin up our wires. And capillary action should draw the solder. Oh, hello. Do we have an issue here? We're at temperature. All 381 degrees. You know what I didn't do? Just didn't put a dab on. That just helps contact. There we go. Now. And you see that I'm running the solder into the wire, on the wire rather than on the solder iron. So that's when I know we're at temperature. And it should, like that, look, just run all the way along in a flash. There we go. Now Now the next bit is where it does get a little bit tricky when you're by yourself, or if you're not at a desk with a nice little, you know, crocodile clip tool for soldering these things together, but it's totally doable. And all you do is, with a little bit of solder on the tip of your iron, we're just going to flow these two together. That's it. Now, if you're wondering whether this is strong or not, don't ask me why, but I once hung from a wall a draftsman's table, and it stayed that way for a couple of years. It did eventually break, but the cable broke, the wire broke. I had nothing except a flex from a kettle or something like that, and I just soldered it together in a big loop and hung the table out of the wall, and the solder joints held that table up. The table must have weighed 30 kilos. That one, I'm not so happy with this one because it was a little bit dry. So we'll go again. I can't really see it. That's good. Now heat shrink. Oh, my 45-year-old heat gun does not sound so good. Very grumbly in the morning. Just like me. There are lovely fancy ones of these that have a little loop, a little shield that directs the flow all the way around the heat shrink. I do not have one. Now, you might say, well, this looks like it's done. Until you see the adhesive lining squeezing out at the end. Now that hurt there. You can't really see it on a hell of a lot better. It's very loose. I might have to tie that down. Let's ignore the fact as well that the brake light switch is cable tied in a very, very impressive way. We just need to reconnect the two yellow cables that powered the heater. One of them, this one, has a black trace. The way it was when I found it, the black tracer was on the outer connector, as in this one here. There we go. All very simple and not really very attached to anything, which is kind of odd. There's a Scotch block. Oh my god. Oh, it must be eliminated. This turns into a yellow wire with a red trace, and it goes down to the stereo, and it's been tacked on here. I think, yeah, that disappears up into the loop. It's the constant 12 volt feed to the stereo, so that the stereo doesn't lose its memory settings or whatever. There we go. There we go. What a mess. The only option I have left to me now isn't going to be a hell of a lot better. Well, it will be better. It just won't be perfect. And that is to just solder all these three back together and have heat shrink over the whole lot of them. Adhesive line. There is a chance the adhesive will bridge the little gap that will be between these two wires. It could very well, because they're very well matched. Yes, okay, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to use a full bit, just so that we've got some chance of sealing those two wires and the joint. Push it web there, and then attempt this splice again, which is very difficult to achieve on such a short tail. Okay, that's gonna do us. Where's my solder? Here it is. Let's get it on there before things go wrong. This is ugly. And see, the problem with an ugly joint, there's little bits of wire sticking up, is that they're the little pieces that are likely to poke through the heat shrink. So sometimes if I have this situation, I give it a little pinch with a pliers or snips just to knock down any little sharp points that the solder sometimes likes to get itself into. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Now we can tin up the other one. And solder that on. Okay. That took a little bit of muscle power. But it's not bad. Oh, that's real nice. Oh yeah, that's lovely. There's loads of adhesive there. That's gonna be just fine. And that is a far nicer joint. Can you see the adhesive poking out the top there? They're sealed. It is another spectacularly windy day. It's another day. And there are two more, I don't know what the collective noun is for a lot of Scotch blocks. Two more cluster blocks of Scotch blocks. One is just the stereo, so that's one thing, and you kind of almost expect to see that. The other is a few key wires here in the loom, and I would suspect, now that I think about it, that meta alarm may have actually been in the loom, and maybe it went wrong, or maybe somebody before me thought it went wrong and pulled it out. But I think what I'll do is just do these few Scotch blocks in the main loom. We'll consider the stereo loom as an afterthought later on when we are up and running, because I actually need to drive this car. I need to drive it. I've been needing to drive it for weeks, and the weather has not been helping me. So anyway, we'll get these few. There's 1, 2, 3, and this one is a spade type, which there is no counterpart for, and I see that it's a splice on here anyway. I'm going to guess that's a 12-volt feed to something that has now been deleted from the car, so we won't worry about that for now, because maybe that will come into handy. And we'll get rid of these 3. 1, 2, 3. Here's another one that's open-ended, but I think I do have a use for that, so I think that something does plug into that. Anyway, let's go. I gotta hand it to whoever crimped these there. They were using a proper tool, and they were crimping them well. Bye. Obviously I was taught to do this with a proper side cutters, but I've never managed to really have a proper side cutters ever since. I've always just used whatever pliers I had at hand, but I'm used to that. I've got brown schmutz on my thumb. Where did I get that from? Yeah. There we go. Oh, my eye is good. Now, where's my solder? Here it is. I'm going to do 2 of these. There we go. I'm leaning in from outside the car, so I'm a little bit shaky. The things we do for the shot. That's that. We'll put on a little Schlieveen of heat shrink. And now we can make a joint. That's one solder joint. And we've got a little pointy bit sticking out of it. Yeah. There we go. That's lovely. We can let this sit here.
residual heat will probably just soften that enough to keep it there. The way I do these is you give it a little nip in two places, rotate like just a little squeeze, and then rotate another little squeeze, and then grip and pull. There's definitely a touch to it, but it works. It's just to weaken the insulation so that it will rip. But if you get it right, it'll rip clean. And that's how you avoid spending lots of money on fancy tools that you only use every once in a while. And it's also how you develop practical skills. Okay, heat shrink. Now, something I haven't done that I should have done already a few times is clean the soldering iron. Just wipe off the old solder and the kind of dirt that builds up. But we're getting good joints, so that's one was good. Now, this one, I really need to get a wiring diagram for this car to understand what the hell is happening here. I don't like it. I'm very suspicious of it. I wonder, can I pull it apart? No. I do not like it. Two wires of a different color into one wire, seemingly of the original loom. I do not like it. And maybe there was a connector there, who knows? But without a schematic, I can't tell what it was. Should I do it the way it was done, as in a linear way like that, 2 into 1, or for tidiness sake should I do this? That is a good question. If I was doing that, I could just twist them all together. It would be far easier to achieve. Yeah, let's do that, because I suspect I might have to come back to this. The cool thing is, all of this is in an area where a dash piece goes in, and the dash piece actually is like a glove box, but it's only to access the fuse box, really. And so we can get back in here relatively easily in the future. I don't like doing this way, but I think it's probably the best solution for now. It'll come apart easiest. Let's have a look. Yeah, more going. Get them to sit nicely, so we've got some chance of heat shrinking them. I might just do a double heat shrink on this, and by that I mean, because the bigger the piece of heat shrink, the less it'll actually completely close. So if I do that first, where's our heat gun? Can you see that? You see the adhesive lining coming out the bottom? So that's sealed now because it's coming out the top here too. But I'm going to go further and put a big piece, oops, over there. Owie! There's adhesive poking out everywhere. So that is sealed. And that leaves us this, but we don't know what it is for yet, and we'll just leave it alone for now. I don't like this. If I can de-pin this red wire, we could at least get a bit of heat shrink up there and get rid of this nasty piece of... Let's have a look. See what's underneath. Nothing great. Oh, it's just wrapped around and soldered. And I hate it for two reasons. One, because it's now got the adhesive from the tape on it, and to undo this, get the solder off this with my soldering iron, it's going to dirty it up. And it's a big round glob of solder, so it'll be hard to heat up even though my gun is good. Come on. Yes. No. Oh, that's going very wrong on me. Oh no. Okay.
Come on. There we go. Nasty. Very nasty. That's a mess. I have to de-pin it. I have to find something skinny enough to go in there and de-pin this thing. Right, I have a very small pick. Will that go? It will go in. Let's see. Come on. You gonna do it for me? Yes. Excellent. Maybe I overestimated my ability to get a piece of heat shrink onto this. I may end up being sorry that I didn't just leave well enough alone. It's touch and go whether this piece of heat shrink, although big enough to go over to the spade, will actually shrink down far enough to make this good. But let's see. The win there is the adhesive, because it's filled the gap. The heat shrink came down almost enough, but the adhesive has squeezed out the rest of the gap, so we're good. It's a better long term. Ow! I did really heat that. Ow! Put that back in. Have we mangled this? It's not too bad. Bend the tab back out. There we go. Click. Lovely. Okay, now what we need to do is put these elbows back onto the heater, but not before we tie back all this loom. Come on, there you go. Now the problem I found is that there was there's only 2 screws holding these on, like machine screws. They were both with hex heads, and they were tiny and very hard to get a grip on and very hard to have a spanner or a socket the size of. So I'm going to replace them with Allen head little screws, stainless steel ones at that. These were they. I guess they're probably 8mm, but the actual screw is, I think, a 4mm. So this is what's going in instead, and I'll cut them down to be a nicer size. There we go. Complete with little stainless washers. Can I get a thread started? I think I can. The one at the back. Yes. The only awkward thing now is finding a bloody Allen key. But they will certainly be easier to take out. Okay, I'll get an Allen key. Here we go. I still haven't tested this heater, by the way. I got sidetracked. This uncharacteristic suspense. I'm such a good content creator. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's lovely. That's nice and tight. And the one at the back that you can't see, and I can't see either, I have to do by feel. So much easier to do it by feel with an Allen key. This is located up at the back here with a big long channel that it sits into. It's actually very firm. Chimney crickets. Oh, that's so tight up there.
Whee, onto the ground. It's the next day. Although I look the same, it's another incredibly windy, blustery, but warm. It's warmer today. In fact, I don't need a hat. I'm going to tackle that stereo wiring right now, and then I'm going to put the two side panels back over the whole area so that the interior is put back together, certainly in the front half. The rear area is still obviously taken apart, but we've got a little side mission there, and obviously I've got to put the seats back in. But I'm going to do all that, and then we're going to test the heater, and then we're going to put a seat in. I'm hoping the passenger seat will fit on the driver's side just temporarily, because I've sent the driver's seat away to get a little repair. So let's get the wiring out of the way. I'm hoping today is the day that the car will run and drive, because I literally today, this is day 13 or 14 that I've been working on the car, non-consecutive, and I need to drive it today. I did not go to work on the Esprit when I should have, because I didn't have a car. So let's get this car running today. This is the plug for the current head unit, which is a Sony, a period Sony. Funnily enough, it has a dongle coming out of the back of it that is for, it looks like an iPod, an early iPod, but it could be a phone one, I don't know, I'll have to check up. Then there's this junction, which is, I would have initially said this is the original plug that came on the car, but actually it can't be, because why would somebody have spliced it in? Okay, let's just do it. All right, that's done. Much neater and much safer. I did continue to try and pull these apart. Can I find one? Yeah, there's one. And I was able to pull some of them apart. And most worryingly, the one that was the easiest to come apart was this thicker gauge, heavier gauge, 12-volt feed. Now you see there's a splice here, and I did the Western Union on it because there's 3 wires. And the reason there's 3 wires is because at the end of this one, I've reinstated something, this fuse, which leads to this guy. And the reason I did it is because I know this is still flashing the little red flashy light in the center console, and that's good. I don't want to take that light out of the center console because it will leave a hole. So I'm going to wrap this up with a bit of tape just to tidy it, and then we're going to connect it into the back of the stereo, which we'll install into the dash, and we'll get these side panels on and get on to putting coolant in the car. straight here. That is an M5 bolt that holds in that side with a washer on it. We'll keep the washer, but we'll replace the bolt with a little stainless steel one. In fact, no, we won't, because this is a nice black dome-headed bolt or machine screw. We're going to need a screwdriver. This obviously used to be tan, and it's been painted black. And it's got a metal core. It's kind of got a very hard foam padding on it and vinyl, but the other one is just thin fiberglass. We've got a captive nut here. That goes there. Do I remember the order? The red goes at the end, and then the white and the black are no-brainers because they're different sizes. 10 tons of fun. This is gonna be fun. No! That's good. Now we've got some chance of getting this thing to find its mark. That's it. And we'll keep those for reference, by the way. But some of them, like this flathead, I seriously doubt are original. Okay, before we find out whether an Alfa Spider S4 passenger seat can fit as a driver's seat temporarily, we've got a couple of little jobs to do. Where's the pulley thing for the engine? In the engine bay. I've got to sort out the heater pipe, the new heater pipe, because it's too long now, and even though I have fitted it to the front of the engine, to the water pump, I guess, there's a lot of extra pipe there that needs to be cut off. And to do that nicely and route it nicely, I need to take off the inlet manifold, which I'm gonna do now. So let's go. Much as this looks like a tangle of spider legs, it's actually quite easy to just get this out of the way enough to get in there and work on stuff underneath. There are Jubilee clips holding on the inlet runners, right? So you just need to undo 4 of those. Then this little section here needs to be undone. There's a fastener there onto the valve cover and another one there, and there's a couple of Jubilee clips either end, and it just kind of comes away. And the rest, I have found, will just actually kind of fold up here out of the way. So let's do that. Okay, Jubilee number 1, number 2, number 3. Maybe I had this off. Maybe I should do that one first. Work from the top down. This would be the other. Would it? You are never ever going to be able to see this, but there are 2 17mm hex bolts just below, directly below all of this, holding the manifold to a steel bracket that's on the car. So I'll have those off in a jiffy. The one on this side is a real dinger. The one on the side closest to me is easy enough. I'm gonna have to go gloveless and feel what I'm doing. Where is it? Here it is. There we go. Hopefully it's only hand tight now. That spanner's gone forever. Yes. I've just spotted the chassis number for the first time. Stamped into the bulkhead.
I'm doing this about, oh, there it is, about 1/8 of a turn at a time. That was tricky and quite sore. Now, are we free to do what we want to do? We are. And get loaded and have a good time. That one. That's a horrible thing. I might have to try and replace that. Let's hang us up. Well, let's take this off here and that one off there. That'll do us. Here's our new pipe, which needs to go under that and through there, under this one. I think, does it? Seems like a bit of a stretch for it. Now I just need to reroute this coolant hose to where I want it, inside a few of these other cables and pipes there, or outside of them even, because I think that's the safest thing. As long as it's running along the chassis rail. There's another one of these metal clips down here that you can't see. I'm going to need to shorten it by about, I'm going to shorten it by about 6 inches. Nothing like a scalpel. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to tighten everything up, button this thing up for the evening because it is starting to get a little bit dark, and I'll see you tomorrow. Now, old man noises. I've done a bit of sprucing up in here. We're all neat and tidy again and clean, and it's time to put seats back in. And if you hadn't noticed in earlier parts of this video, the driver's seat had a little bit of damage on the bolster, the outer bolster, and I sent it away to be repaired. And there was a moment in between times when I thought I'd have to try and fit the passenger seat into the driver's seat just to be able to drive the car until the driver's seat was ready, but it has returned resplendent and repaired, and wait until you see how good it looks. But before we put any seat in, there are two things I want to do. One, I'm interested to know whether the passenger seat will temporarily fit on the driver's side. Is that a little bug? It is some kind of a fly. And you also may have noticed that this seatbelt buckle, which should be standing up proud like this, has been torn and battered and beaten and has a severe case of the droop. I have a creatively packaged box here, all the way from Italy, that contains not one but two of these. The only two I could find on the internet, and whereas they need a bit of a clean up, they are in nigh on perfect condition, which is great. They cost a few quid, more than I wanted to spend, but look, let's do things right. And I'm telling you, that thing flopping around, every time you move the seat forward, you had to try and lean in and do a contortionist act to hold it up while you put the seat back, which wasn't pleasant. So it's going to make a big difference, even though it's a very small thing. Let's put it in.
This is a woo, look at the nice proud new belt receiver, and not at this point the realization that I've put the wrong one on and it's too tall. Early investigations would suggest that the Spider ones are the same part, just slightly cut down near the base. But I'm keeping this in the bag for another installment that'll be jam-packed with nice little details and repairs like this. Now, let's see whether a near side seat can be pressed into service on the offside of a Series 4 Alfa Spider.
Can I get this in with the roof up? And I have the roof up just so that, you know, the wind noise is reduced. Yes, I can. Now, how good is this? I'm so happy. He found a piece. It's not exactly the same colour, but you have to remember, this is very faded. This seat, both seats are. They've lived a life of joy in the sunshine, and the colour's gone out of them to a great degree. Oh, am I going to be able to do this? And so finding a piece of vinyl or leather that would match the faded colour was tricky. And it's not exact, but it's close enough that you'd never really notice it. I have to give the seat a bit of a clean. But I'm so happy. It's so much better. Let me show you the original piece, just for reference. Here it is. So you can clearly see how much darker the original colour was, very caramelly, and it was very faded and very ripped, and somebody had tried to repair it before, but it was a poor attempt. And as Oleg, our intrepid upholsterer, told me, it was never going to work because this glue, upholstery glue, doesn't tend to stick to the business side of vinyl like that. Even if you scuffed it up, he said it would just come off again. So that probably wasn't done that long ago, because some of it is still stuck, but I can pull it off very easily. Anyway, that's that. He told me to keep this for reference, that it should stay with the car, because you never know. And he said, but he also said that you might actually use that could be used as a repair for somewhere else if something nasty happened. So that'll just go into the box of spares, and we'll keep it. But full covers are available for these seats. I think they're around €250 each, €230 each, something like that, for a full cover set. So it's not the end of the world, but there's plenty of life left in these. Woohoo! Okay, time to check if the heater works. I'm a little bit nervous, but let's hook up the battery and see what happens. There's that, goes on there. Oh, there's a bit of a spark there. Something's drawing current. Okay, let's check it. What's ticking? Oh well, the hazards are working, and our little red anti-theft device is flashing away, which is kind of cool. So that's good. That still works, at least as far as making a little red flashy light go. So, moment of truth. Nothing. Oh, okay. Maybe the heater doesn't run without the ignition on, which I might just be sounding very silly, because obviously the heater probably wouldn't run. Well, all of our gauges are still working. We have 13 volts in the battery. There was a little twitch out of the oil pressure. The tank is showing about a quarter of a tank. And the temperature gauge, which weirdly, when there isn't even a battery connected to the car, it sits up at around 80. But as soon as you put the battery on it or turn the ignition on, as I see, it comes back down to 0. So that's good. And let's try this. Ooh! That's position 1. Oh. Well, it's working.
But position 1, maybe the switch is a bit dodgy, because position 1, the low speed setting, is giving me the high speed setting, as is the high speed setting. And we get a light on the dash, which is cool. Okay, it's connected and it works. That's all I need to know. I can investigate the switch at a later date. At least we have a working fan. Cool. Okay, let's get the car running. So here's our red stripe relay that we've just lost the cover for. It's gone forever. Let's just pull this out of here if we can. Yeah, there it is. And here's our new one, which switches to 87, both 87s, when it is triggered. Put that in there. Fish out that cover. Hey, where did that come from? Well, we'll keep that safe. There's the cover. Come on, cover. Do not evade me. Gotcha. Okay. I'm just realizing I may not have enough coolant, but only by maybe a litre or less, so we'll get some in here anyway and play it by ear. I really hope there are no leaks, but we're going to find out. This system is self-bleeding, so it should get the air out of itself. But we'll find that out too. I can hear it glugging around the engine. I hope it's not glugging anywhere else. Let's go have a look. No sign of trouble down at the two pipes we disturbed. Can't really see. But there's no drips coming down here so far. Doesn't that look nice and clean in a dirty kind of a way? Other side. There's the pipe and there's the union. I see nothing bad happening. Okay, let's finish this. I'm going to check the capacity of this cooling system and make sure we've got enough in it. But this should be enough for now, just to make sure we don't toast the monkey. Is that going to drop? There we go. There's a couple of bubbles. Give it a bit of a gurgle. Oh, there's nothing in these top pipes. That's all she wrote, more or less. That's it. Okay. I won't tighten that just yet. It's the moment of truth. We have park and brake light, a brake warning light, a very firm brake pedal, and yeah, let's just do this. 3, 2, 1. I can now drive this car. Okay, I'll just let it run for a sec. I'm going to end this video here because there's actually a few things that still need to be done, if you hadn't noticed. There's some stuff here in the rear end, and I don't mean mechanically, but there's some electrical, an aerial to put in. I want to do a little surprisey thing there for you as well. And there's a few other little bits and pieces. So we'll end it here. I'm going to get this car out of this space because it's been really driving me mad with the passenger door hitting the Sprinter. And I'm going to adjust the steering and do a few tweaks, make sure it's running right, get the coolant topped up,
and I'll see you with another one very soon.